Can I see a show of hands of how many people have heard of Little Free Library? Oh, I love you all. Can I see a show of hands of people that are stewards? Look around now. I want to tell you, the stewards are the best people in the world. They actually are the most socially minded, kind people that are changing the world, and there's 25,000 of them around the world, 80 countries. It's beautiful. We have been told that we're the only hyper-local, global grassroots movement that's ever occurred. And so we're uniquely positioned in that we're in little neighborhoods outside your door, and we're across the globe in 80 countries. So it is a unique organization. One of the things that I find so fascinating about Little Free Library is I really feel it is a great story of us. I consider myself to be the first steward. I built the first one, and I feel like I am representing the stewards all around the globe. Now, April 15th, we have a book coming out called Little Free Library. And what I really, really like about the book is that it is truly a celebration of a sweeter side of all of us. It's a better side of who we are. That's my mom, June. And if those of you that have lost your parents, you can't believe it happens. You can't believe it occurred. And when my mom died, I spoke at her funeral. And two things. I honored an old Sioux Indian tradition that said nobody really dies until all they've touched have passed. And then two, there's an old colonial tradition in the United States where you give a gift to somebody at a funeral. So I gave everybody a little heart necklace that said June Bol, a dancing spirit, 1927 through. And I felt that the dance of my mother continued. And so when I first made that first Little Free Library in Hudson, Wisconsin, just up the road, it was to celebrate my mom, and it was to celebrate who she was, and she cared about people. She was a teacher, and she always tutored kids. She always tutored kids and helped the neighbors. I'm going to read. Perhaps seeing this bright blue little house rising up from the devastation has encouraged our citizens, showing that they too can rise up. We have gotten over 120 libraries from the Prairie du Chien Correction Facility, and we deliver them around the country. That was from Hurricane Sandy. And we sent Little Free Libraries there. The libraries were down, and it was a beacon of hope from the neighborhoods. About 3 weeks ago, we're honored to receive the Wisconsin Reading Association's Literacy Organization of the Year Award. And behind me was former Governor Doyle. His wife received the Lifetime Achievement Award. She's a wonderful woman, supported literacy throughout Wisconsin. He said to me, Todd, what's going on in America right now is not who we are. We're not this divisive. We're not this polarized. Little Free Library is a better example of who we are as Americans. We help each other. We reach across the aisle, we reach across the street, and we help educate each other, and we care about each other. That's a beautiful summary of what Little Free Libraries is about. Regardless of religious, political, or social economic status, everyone has encouraged and supported this project. People opened up their front yards and their hearts for Little Free Libraries. We've been told that we are many things, but the one that has touched me the most is the Los Angeles Times said, "It has turned strangers into friends and a sometimes impersonal neighborhood into a community. It has become a mini town square." A friend of mine called me from Cape Cod. We gave them a library, and he said, "My dog died." And I put up a notice, and 9 people sent me sympathy cards. 5 of them I never met. And so what's happening is the Little Free Library is opening the door, opening the community, And I think it's a primal need that we have to be a part of our community. We consistently hear from people that I've met more people in 5 days than I have in 30 years. We all hear from people all the time, I'm a book lover. Books mean so much to me. And if I can share a book with a neighbor, I'm sharing of myself, I'm sharing who I am. It's an intimate experience with the neighborhood. I was putting some little free libraries in Madison, and a woman ran up to me and said, I need a library. Can you bring one to my house right now? And I said, sure. And we started to put the little free library in. And I said, why do you need this library? And she said, well, I want to put in books about Nepal. I said, why do you want to put in books about Nepal? And she said, my children are from Nepal. They're adopted. I want my neighborhood to understand my children. And we hear this theme all the time. We have people that have little free libraries about cats, about hippos, about seeds. One of my favorite is a gentleman in Arkansas has a string with one of those snub-nosed scissors that they used as kids. And he has an herb garden around his little free library, and he has books in there on cooking. And he asks people to come to his herb garden and snip some herbs and go home and make something. And he has told me that he's come out in the morning, there's been hot quiches and cupcakes. And so we often find that the little free library, as that exchange, people tell us there's tomato plants, there's tomatoes, there's cupcakes, there's canned goods that get exchanged, all kinds of things. And actually, in Saudi Arabia, somebody put up a little free library that it was a giant cooler, and the neighbors made food, and they exchanged it in the cooler. One of the things that we think that is the reason that little free libraries are so important is that it seems to be a primal need to be accepted by your community. It seems to be a need to be wanted by your neighbors. So early on, when I was doing this first little library right here in Hudson, I was building it on my deck in Hudson, and I got a call from Walmart. And Walmart said, actually I was down in Fayetteville, and they asked me to come to Bentonville to meet them. And they said, we love your brand, we love who you are, and we want to sell your little free libraries in our stores. And I thought, oh my, Walmart. And I said a couple things. One, I said, you would ask us to, import them. And we use let's just say community conscious builders, ex-cons, handicapped adults, Amish, and so, we use the community. I didn't want to import them. And then I said to them, then you would think we were just another vendor. You would lose sight that we are a nonprofit who is trying to address literacy and community concerns. He said, okay, I understand. They're still fine. They bought some libraries. We made some custom ones for them, and we're still trying to work on some funding programs on some of the things we're doing. But about 3 weeks later, my nephew emails me and says to me, hey Todd, check out Michael Moore's website. Michael Moore said my 2013 New Year's resolution is to help Little Free Library. So I thought to myself, Walmart, Michael Moore, this is the great American Bookends. I just have to show this because we've been in the media so many times, and we were fortunate to be named one of the 50 surprising reasons we love America. And if you catch that up there, Bon Jovi, Bruce Springsteen were number 50. Bill Gates was number 25. And we are at the heel of sliced bread in the number 11 position. So to beat the boss, I mean, how cool is that? Thank you. And actually, if I ever met Bill Gates, which we're actually scheduled to go out there, I was hoping to sell him my position, just. We've been in media across the globe. We've been seen by, it's absurd, but we've been seen by over 15 billion people. And part of it is that Little Free Library really makes heroes, and the heroes are all the stewards that are around all across this universe, and they end up getting in their newspaper and the media and so on as somebody who's trying to help the community. Now, this is part of the reason I'm here, that if we're at 26,000 now, and by Thanksgiving, in theory, we should pass McDonald's. So there'll be more Little Free Libraries than McDonald's, and I know I've got to have a button that says more books than burgers. You know, I just think that that would be so divine. As a nonprofit, we're always trying to show the impact that we have. And I have talked to several nonprofits, including like Books for Africa, and when they give away a book or donate a book, they say to the IRS, this is worth $10. And that's kind of a standard mark for the donation of a book. We estimate that there are 40 million books that are exchanged in our Little Free Libraries. Thus, at $10, that's a $400 million impact in our community. And a small Little Free Library that you put up, that's up there for about 10 years, you will have 50,000 plus impact in your community. So just one little library that runs about $300, either you make it or buy it from us, has that huge impact in your community. And what we do, when I started this Little Free Library, we sold one of them in 2010, just one. So what we decided to do is we gave away 30. And we put them in strategic places around Wisconsin, mainly. And that's what got the ball rolling. We figured, as Martin Luther King said, if he was going to die tomorrow, what would he do? He said he would plant a seed. And that's what we figured we'd do with Little Free Library. We see it as planting seeds throughout the communities. In October, we delivered 25 libraries to Detroit from the Prairie du Chien Correction Facility, a gift from the state of Wisconsin. What we have learned is we donated 50 libraries to the city of Minneapolis, to the school district, and what we found out is there was over 250 to 300 other libraries that were put in the city right after that. So we find that when we put them in, it starts growing. In Minneapolis, we had 5 in 2011. Now, across Minnesota, we have about 3,000. Minnesota and Wisconsin are pretty much neck and neck. They're about 3,000 plus each. We have some amazing stories in this book. Linda Prout, see that library with the flower? That's made out of Mardi Gras beads left over from floats. And that one, the other one is they're celebrating New Orleans. And it's a poem from New Orleans. They have about 70 to 80 of them. Lisa Lopez, one of the worst literacy rates in the country, is in El Paso. She, as a librarian, put in 70 Little Free Libraries with the community, and it's growing and growing more. This woman is amazing. She called me one night late on a Sunday night. She lives in the Ukraine. She called me up and she said she was so impressed with the Little Free Library that she put in 100 throughout the Ukraine. And she goes in with writer and a artist, and they make stories with kids, and they make a book in one sitting and publish it. And she goes around the country telling different community stories. She's fantastic. Spencer, he's tough. He's 9. He, Leawood, Kansas, they outlawed Little Free Libraries. He made one for his mom, his grandma. He ended up getting called by Colbert, being on national public radio, being across the country. And so he changed the laws. This one I can't resist because it's a sweater. I mean, everybody should knit a sweater for their Little Free Library. Beyond the box, what we're trying to do at Little Free Library is we're creating programs, books around the block, putting books in kids' hands wherever they go. Friendly little, small towns, 11,000 towns across America without libraries. The Rotary in Hudson, my Rotary, and Luther are building 41 libraries on May 17th to put them in every small town in St. Croix County, 41 of them that do not have public access to books. Libraries of understanding. We're giving away libraries to police departments across the country. We hated the dialogue between the minority community and the police. LAPD has 30 Little Free Libraries in their police stations, And what we're finding is that they're bringing the community in, they're bringing the community together. We just donated 30 to them 3 weeks ago. And in a month from now, 2 months from now, we're going to do 100 library build day, and they're going to put them throughout the community. Last week we gave some to Ferguson. So we're trying to build the momentum to build libraries of understanding that have books of understanding where the community comes together. Literacy-friendly neighborhoods, we're working a campaign starting in Cleveland, Grassroots movement, where we're listing hundreds and hundreds of ways that communities can be responsible for their neighborhood, with the idea of empowering the neighbors to make a difference in the community. Literacy rates are pretty flat. 75% of the kids in Cleveland are going to fail the minimal standards to go from 3rd grade to 4th grade. The only thing we have is the community to step up and fix their neighborhoods. And the last one I'll tell you about is the What You Reading Challenge. The producer of the New Girls show, Zoe Deschanel, David Finkel, and I coined the phrase, what you're reading. And the idea for us is it's the new hip hello. So anytime you say hello, instead of saying, hi, how are you, you say, what you're reading. And then the other thing, for women read 70% of all books, right? I don't know if you know this. And so my idea is that all of you that go on a date, the first thing that you say to that young man is what you're reading. And if he does not have a good answer, he is not a good answer. So, thank you. How can you help? Little free libraries are easy. You can build your own. 60% of the people do. You can buy them from us. 40% of the people do. You can go down to your local Home Depot. You can talk to your Rotary clubs. You can talk to Kiwanis. It's a global movement that is truly a better side of us, that is reflecting who we are, and then everybody can participate in it. And you know what? It makes the community really function better and feel better about themselves. Spread the word. Talk about it. So the last thing is that now that I've spoken, I want to see how many people are going to build little free libraries that don't have one. About 24. Fantastic. Thank you.